Hello and welcome to 108 with AJK. Today we'll be continuing our 2026 fantasy baseball rankings based on my spreadsheet model. Last time we did catcher. Next episode, of course, will be second base. Before we get to the first base rankings, just a quick word about my setup. I'm still working on it, so bear with me. I have backed up a little bit from the camera for this episode. I felt like I was a little bit too close for the last one, so hopefully this looks better and will be better. And I'll continue to make tweaks as we go. Hopefully the channel will just continue to get better. But the reason we are here today is to rank first baseman, so let's do this. At number 15, I've got Vinnie Pasquantino of the Royals. He just had a good year where he hit 30 plus home runs with 100 plus RBIs, and I think he's fully capable of doing that for multiple more seasons. He should be fully recovered from a 2023 shoulder surgery, which may have hampered him into 2024, but he looked good last year. I expect him to look good next year. You know, he may not be a league winner for you, but he should be quite good. So here he is at number 15, Vinnie Pasquantino. Number 14, we have Freddie Freeman. Traditionally has appeared higher on rankings, I would say, but he's getting older. His stats are trending downwards. Father time comes for us all. So I'm moving him down in these rankings, and in fact, my model moves him down in these rankings due to the quality of contact he's making and other factors. He's still likely to be quite good, just not elite anymore, and that's fine, but he comes in at number 14, Freddie Freeman. 13, we have Alec Burleson. Now he's kind of the opposite of Freeman in the sense that his stats are trending upwards instead of downwards. He's probably not going to reach the same heights that Freeman did in his prime, but he is just 27 next year, and he puts the ball in play. He hits line drives. He doesn't strike out a lot, so he's a pretty good solid floor bet at number 13. Number 12, we've got Spencer Torkelson of the Detroit Tigers. Torkelson is a little bit hard to project because he's had two really good years sandwiched by one pretty terrible one, and he looked pretty good for most of last year. Sort of my own observation is it seemed like he started swinging at stuff out of the strike zone more as the year went by, not as the years go by. Hopefully he doesn't do that. He did make improvements pretty much across the board last year, and he's still very young, so he's still kind of just entering his prime. He is a very good hitter, and that's why I have him at number 12. Yandy Diaz is my number 11. He is probably one of the more solid batting average bets at first base. I did notice his batting average on balls in play was way down last year, 60 points down from the previous year, and that's usually based on luck. So I would expect that to stabilize and for him to have a good batting average and probably 20 plus doubles. Not a lot of home run potential with Yandy Diaz, but he gives you other things like batting average. Number 10, we've got Tyler Soderstrom, who's probably not actually going to be playing first base next year. There's somebody else who's going to appear farther down this list who has sort of displaced him from that position, but as it turns out, he's actually an excellent left fielder. And he's also an excellent hitter, which is why he's here. He hit 25 home runs and 24 doubles as a 23-year-old. His pull air percentage is not great, so that limits his power, and that's number 10, Tyler Soderstrom. Number 9, we've got Rafael Devers, who no longer has third base eligibility, so take that into account. He's also moved into one of the worst hitters for left-handed power hitters at Oracle Park, so 30 home runs might be hard for him to approach anymore, but he's another guy who is kind of entering his prime, or in his prime. He's 29 years old. He's got all the Boston drama behind him. I don't know how much that really affected him last year, but if it did, then he won't have that to worry about anymore. So Rafael Devers, obviously an excellent hitter. His strikeouts have continued to rise in recent years, so things could start to go badly for him if he doesn't address that. Number 8, we've got Jonathan Aranda, who's a guy who flashed potential for years. He finally kind of reached that potential last year by staying healthy, which is something he's struggled to do. He did miss some time at the end of the year with an injury, but he OPS'd almost 900. He has elite exit velocities and launch angles. So assuming he can stay on the field, I just expect him to keep progressing and to have a real good year. He is losing second base eligibility, which is kind of painful. I know I had one league where I played him at second base pretty much the whole year because, as we'll get to in our next episode, There wasn't a lot of great second base options last year, and I'm not sure there will be next year either. But nonetheless, that's number 8, Jonathan Aranda. Number 7 is Bryce Harper. Now, Dave Dombrowski came right out and said he doesn't think he's elite anymore, which is probably true, but he's still quite good. He has had some trouble staying on the field due to injuries, but with all signs indicating that the Phillies are going to move on from Nick Castellanos, I suspect Harper will get more DH at bats, which should help him to stay healthy and to have a good year. Speaking of durability, number 6, Matt Olson. He's played in 162 games for 4 straight years, so he's pretty much the picture of durability. He's also a threat for 40 or 50 home runs, although I realized he's only hit over 40 home runs once, which is the year he hit like 53 or something. So that's interesting. And he was on a thing until recently where he would have a good year, then a bad year, then a good year, then a bad year. Well, last year he was due for a good year, and it was kind of just okay. But the underlying metrics under the hood all look good. He's a massive power threat, and so you kind of just plug him into your lineup and let him stay there, see what he does, and it's probably going to be pretty darn good at the end of the year. Number 5 is Pete Alonso. As of this recording, he's still currently a free agent, so depending on where he goes, that could impact his value somewhat. Anyway, Pete Alonso, not much to say. He's obviously an excellent hitter. Changing teams might affect him mentally. It's hard to say, but based on my model and his underlying metrics and everything, he should still be quite good, and that's why I have him at number 5. Number 4, Michael Busch of the Chicago Cubs. Some may be surprised to see him this high, but I think the data supports it. He did just come off a 34 home run season. He has an excellent pull air percentage, and Wrigley Field is good for a lefty with his swing. Strikeouts might be a little bit of a concern, like with any power hitter, but unless something gets worse with that, I don't expect it to be a big problem. And all signs point to Michael Busch having a real good year, and I have him at number 4. Number 3, Vlad Guerrero Jr. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, well, who's number 2? So let's see in a moment here. But anyway, Vlad, not much to say. Much has been made of the fact that his launch angles are not elevated as much as they could be or should be if he wants to hit more home runs. But obviously, he gets excellent results with his current approach. And I'm not going to sit here and tell Vlad how to hit. He has, gap power, real good hitter. He's kind of an elite on-base percentage guy. Anytime you're in the top 3 of any of these rankings, you're talking about a real elite player. So there he is, Vlad Guerrero at number 3. Number 2 is Ben Rice. Now, much like my first base list, Ben Rice comes in at number 2. This time, it's at a position I actually expect him to play most of the time, first base. Like I said in the catcher episode, he just has ridiculously elite batted ball metrics across the board. His barrel percentage, his sweet spot percentage, his chase percentage is quite good. His expected stats are all like 90th percentile or above. He was on a 33 home run pace last year with full playing time, and Yankee Stadium obviously excellent for lefties. All signs point to Ben Rice having a huge breakout. Everybody is saying it, and they're probably right, and I think so too, and that's why I had him at number 2. Number 1, probably not much of a surprise here, it's Nick Kurtz. Now, he showed up and dominated MLB right away with a 173 OPS plus season, which means he was 73% better than league average offense. If you look up players who've had OPS pluses that high, a high percentage of them are Hall of Famers, and he did this as a 22-year-old. So the sky's probably the limit for Nick Kurtz. Hasn't really shown a lot of holes in his swing or anything. He does strike out a fair amount, as any power hitter would, but it doesn't seem to be an issue for him so far. So obviously, like with some of these other guys, there's a little bit of a lack of track record here with Nick Kurtz, but everything seems like he's going to be real good, and he already has been real good, and I expect him to be the number 1 first baseman for 2026. That's my rankings for 2026 first baseman. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you'll like and subscribe, and I will be doing the rest of the positions for the rest of this week, and I'll be moving on to pitching after that. So thanks a lot, and I hope I'll see you again down the road.